Right now in the Canadian real estate market, you got some cities with near record 20-year highs of inventory and prices dropping, while other Canadian cities are seeing record low levels of inventory with prices at new all-time highs. Keep watching to find out which ones are which. Hey there, and welcome to Prairie Real Estate. My name is 𝗵𝗲𝗍𝗍, real estate agent in Regina, Saskatchewan. That's my trusted assistant, 𝗵𝗲𝗍. This is my June 2024 Canadian real estate market update. We're going coast to coast, bunch of different cities here, and getting you up to date as to what's going on. But of course, let's start this off with another one of my terrible bad dad jokes. How do you cut an ocean in half? With a seesaw. If you have a terrible joke I can use in a future episode, put it in the comments below. Let's get you updated on the Canadian real estate market. It seems to have taken a number of months for the Victoria real estate market to really start picking up here. Again, still down 2% year over year, but being the closest it's been all year, and it's been closing the gap all year long, to me indicates that things have kind of started to pick back up. With more inventory coming to the market, both in new listings and now with total active inventory, that's been good for buyers. That has given them more choice, and it has slowed down the price appreciation. We're still seeing prices increase. What has been interesting is that basically the prices this year have essentially mirrored where they were last year within about 1% or 2%, basically all year long. With inventory being up 20% over the 5-year average, that means buyers have more choice in Vancouver than they've had in the past years. And with the balance being at 5.0, so just slightly on the buyer's side of a balanced market, buyers have got a little bit more leverage over sellers than they have had in previous years. We are still seeing those prices increasing, and they're surpassed the 2023 peaks, and also that happened a couple of months earlier as well than it did last year. So it does appear that we've got a little bit of an upward trend on prices. I do expect through the back half of the year, we're going to see prices fall back off, much like they did last year. The question is going to be, do they drop below the low points of last year or not? I've seen a lot of chatter online about how Calgary saw sales drop year over year. The market's slowing down, things have peaked. Just hold on, take a time out, deep breathe here, because it was by 30 units from last month's or last year's ridiculously busy May. So again, let's not read too much into this. If we see it again next month and the gap is even larger, okay, then maybe let's start chatting about it. Of course, Calgary still continues to be an absolutely red hot market, and the investor money from Toronto, Vancouver continues to pour in. It's starting to look at other areas now, Edmonton, Saskatoon, Regina. So I think that's going to slow down a little bit, that single family market, especially in that more affordable segment. So anything basically under $650,000 is selling really well in Calgary right now. Going back to the stats, I could only find 3 times where we've seen more than 3,000 homes sell in a month in Edmonton, and 2 of those were the last 2 months. So things have really picked up in Edmonton this spring, and I expect that to continue. I'm seeing again a lot of that spillover from the Calgary effect going on there. Edmonton is a little bit unique though in the prairies because they've got new listings actually coming to market. They're one of the only cities where they're actually seeing more new listings than the 5-year average. So that's helped keep active inventory up, which has also helped keep that price appreciation in check a little bit, although I expect it's going to join the $400,000 club next month as well. Finally seeing month over month increases in inventory is an absolute godsend right now in Regina, because it's been really challenging for buyers to find any houses that they like and then not having to compete on those. So the extra inventory, absolutely love it. We should be seeing inventory increasing this time of year, and generally it peaks out in July. So to see it just starting to increase now is very abnormal. But again, I'll take it. It's still well below where it should be right now, and that is why we're seeing continual price increases pretty much across the board in Regina. Houses that are sitting around are generally sitting around for a reason. They're overpriced or they don't show well. The good ones are selling for the most part that first weekend or first couple of days on the market. Saskatoon is often kind of the market leader in Saskatchewan. So what you see in Saskatoon, you're likely to see it replicated in other areas. We're seeing it in Regina obviously right now as well, but seeing some of the smaller centers wouldn't surprise me as well. We are seeing now 2 months in a row where inventory increased. That's a good thing. It should be increasing this time of year. Typically, total inventory will peak out in July in Saskatoon, and then it'll trail off for the remainder of the year. I was really expecting that we were going to see those home prices cross that $400,000 barrier. Didn't quite get there. I said last month, I'm almost 100% sure it's going to happen this month. We'll see it cross over that $400,000 barrier when we're talking about these stats next month. The Winnipeg real estate market's a little bit unique in Canada, having higher levels of inventory coupled with higher levels of sales. And I think that higher level of inventory is also what's allowed those sales to actually happen. And so we've seen them push up. If there was less inventory, we'd probably see fewer sales in Winnipeg. We're still seeing, though, a very competitive market. The sales to new listing ratio is about 75%, meaning the vast majority of houses are selling, and from what agents are telling me there in Winnipeg, they're selling relatively quickly. Still a lot of multiple offers going on. And with home prices now closing in on that all-time high of about $370,000 in Winnipeg, with a strong month or two here, we might see them surpass the 2022 peaks. It's no secret the Toronto real estate market is probably the most sluggish market in Canada right now, and we're starting to see things roll over, both sales rolling over. That usually doesn't happen until later in the year. It's down month over month and significantly versus the 5-year average. New inventory to the market has been increasing rapidly. A huge chunk of that is, of course, that downtown and that condo market. That's where the most saturation is. Real quick pause here. If you're thinking about buying a house in Regina, obviously I'd love to help you out. But if you're somewhere else in Canada, don't worry, I can get you set up with a perfect real estate agent that'll handpick for you. If you check out the description of this video, you're gonna see a link to my calendar where you can book me in for an agent recommendation consultation. I'll give you a call, learn about what's important to you in a house, in a real estate agent, and I'll get you set up with that perfect agent in your market. And now let's get back to the video. The single family home continues to be stronger, especially in the more affordable areas. And then the prices also starting to roll over. That's earlier than expected. Again, that's typically June, July, we start to see that. I don't think a 0.25% cut in the interest rates is going to make much of a difference materially to the market. It might change some sentiment a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. If the Bank of Canada continues to drop rates, that might have more of an impact in the back half of the year. Again, wait and see on that. In last month's update, I talked to how the Ottawa real estate market had been consistently down about 23% for home sales. And then the previous month was down 16%, so that was a little surprising. We seem to have reverted back to that where we're down 20%. This month, we'll see kind of which way that shakes out. Next month, when we get the sales data back, if you're a buyer in Ottawa, the good news is you are seeing more inventory finally. Ottawa has been chronically short for years, and that actually is skewing the data quite a bit. It's up, 40% versus a 5-year average, but that's only because it was so low in that 5-year period. If you go kind of the 2019 timeframe and work your way back, these inventory levels right now would actually be considered on the low side of that. So really, again, that 5-year average is skewed by just how low the inventory levels were. As you can see, in terms of the sales balance, we're still slightly in a seller's market in Ottawa. That, again, is more geared towards those good properties that are selling relatively well, those ones that are priced well. Places that are overpriced are still sitting on the market for a long period of time. All year long, agents in Montreal have been telling me that things were starting to build up, and we saw it 2 months ago when we talked about things last month, that the data was starting to finally reflect that. This month, a little bit softer, but when you compare versus the longer trend line, say 10 years out, this would actually be a relatively busy Montreal market. So it's just looking a little bit sluggish in comparison to how crazy busy it has been through the previous couple of years. There's still a lot of multiple offers going on in Montreal, and it seems to be happening a little bit more often than it was earlier in the year. Again, that's more predominantly on the better priced homes, the more affordable segments of the Montreal real estate market. The upper end of the market is a little bit more sluggish. So depending where you're looking, you could see fairly different market conditions in Montreal right now. When I'm talking with agents in Halifax, it's been really interesting, some of the stories they've been telling me. The first one is that houses over $1 million have been selling quite well. And I asked them why, and most of them went, I'm actually not really sure. When it comes to the more affordable price points, so under $600,000 in Halifax, those are selling like absolute gangbusters with a lot of multiple offers. So if you're looking to buy a house in that price point, expect a lot of competition. The good news for buyers, though, with nearly 1,000 houses on the market right now, that's the most homes that have been for sale at this time of year since about 2020. So good news for buyers, finally some more choice in Halifax. That's what's been happening for June 2024 in the Canadian real estate market. Here's what the YouTube algorithm says you should watch next on Bald Prairie Real Estate. Please give this video a thumbs up if you loved it. Leave me some comments in the comment section below. I love chatting with you guys there. And as always, thanks very much for watching.